Welcome to 13 art materials children should know. Let's get this started with. I'm going to go ahead and keep everything up to 30 seconds per each, so let's get this started with. Our first one is the olden days, where we went ahead and did things a lot too. The first artworks, they were made from bone, ivory, and wood. Now, why did they make practical things actually decorative? Well, it's because they went ahead and wanted to go ahead and do things. Maybe back then they thought that if you went ahead and drew an animal on your spear, you went ahead and got the powers of the animal. And so forth as well too. They went ahead and even drew other things and made other things, such as this elephant mask in African tribes, as well as this little carving as well too. Also, this panel is missing. It's still kind of ironic that we still have this much, 4 out of the 5 panels that were created back then still existing here. Alright, next up, we have to go ahead. Our next art material is gold. Gold or semi-precious stones and metals as well too. Gold has been a precious metal for years because it has been a precious metal for years because of its rarity and also its malleability. It's really easy to mold into other things as well too. If you hammer it with a rock instead of breaking it like fool's gold, which is basically iron and sulfur mixed together, it looks a lot like gold, but it isn't. It's very, very brittle. We'll go ahead and have a flat surface. And with that, that's also called as a gold test. This is probably created for a King Agamemnon. And this is from Egypt. It's a scarab. It's created from actual stones that are very precious and so forth. And then of course we have this. Next up, our next material is called clay. Now clay is a really useful raw material thanks to its versatility. It has actually been used since ancient times for a multitude of purposes. With pottery, of course, you also get the ancient Greeks who went ahead and drew their own little pictures on their own pottery as well too. But this, of course, there's so much more to really talk about. And then we have this. Our next is casting beauty. Now, casting beauty here is actually went ahead and created from copper and tin, and use those two to make an alloy called, you knew it, bronze. Now, this actually comes from the molds, the furnaces, the hammers and chisels, and went ahead and used this to create these kinds of artwork as well. So you discovered the metal, and then it plays an important part in human history. Afterwards, of course, you start going ahead and make bronze castings, and you can eventually, humans figured out how to make these bad boys, how to make their lifelike, how to make metal turn into a human and a horse with a saddle and everything on it as well too. Next up, we have parchment. Now, parchment is basically the olden day equivalent of paper, and this is basically where illuminated art comes into. This is a cover of an illustrated book, and you might see all this gold color here. That's actual gold, which actually adds to the price of the drawing itself, which is already beautiful and worth a lot of money already as well too. It's supposed to be a biblical story, but then again, it just doesn't work that well as well too. The use of parchment actually goes back all the way to 6,000 years ago, but it wasn't until the Middle Ages that it became popular in Europe, and then people started drawing this. In fact, this is actually from the 20th century during World War II, where the person who created this went ahead and made cutouts, mixed them together, and made that. And this sculpture may look like it's made of marble, but then it's actually made of only paper and glue. We can go ahead and expand it out so that it looks like this. I assure you, it's the same sculpture. Well, it's not made of clay. Why else do you think we have the expression still as a statue? Alright, next up we have windows. Now, windows are basically just glass, quartz, and other material sediments that you go ahead, superheat it up into this liquid thing, and let it cool off, and get this transparent thing called glass. Glass actually results from a long process. You mix it up, and afterwards, in the process, you can also color it. And during the coloring, you can go ahead and make this as well too. This could actually become one of the most important things in all of art history. Glass chandelier windows actually have been very important for years to come. And Mesopotamians and Egyptians were actually the first to manufacture glass. They used glass paste to decorate their art objects and jewelry as well too. This is the Roman glass vase, and this Roman glass vase itself was pretty important. This Roman glass vase was just one of the first glass vases actually done. Also, it's very fragile, so I'm surprised it didn't break over all those years. And this is a ceiling made of glass. Well, the sides are made of glass. And this also shows us how glass is made. Now, if you remember from our paper story, we also have to talk about the signs of expression. Now, drawing is an activity that was actually common in all periods and all cultures, but the Renaissance, when spread of paper, actually helped to make the drawing more popular than ever before as well too. The Renaissance era went ahead and saw that paper drawing become more available to everyone, and so they went ahead and started drawing as well too. They went ahead and used charcoal and a little British thing, and with that, of course, you go ahead and draw this, as well as chalk to make it brighter. It's basically a bun stick and iron rust. This is Leonardo da Vinci's study of the angel's face, using that same method. Alright, then we have statues. Marble has been one of the most important items in all of art history as well too. Michelangelo himself actually used this way, and he called it freeing the person. He went ahead and chiseled all the way until he hit the skin. Once he did, he went ahead and made these kinds of masterpieces as well too. And with these masterpieces, he went ahead and was able to do things greatly. This is his statue of Moses. It's so muscular-like and very, very prophetic-like. And some people have even went ahead and made incomplete versions as well, incomplete of the, well, partially complete versions of statues as well too. This is the hand, supposed to be the hand of God, and this rock that's in the hand, well, that's supposed to be the clay. And you might see here, this shape here, but it actually looks like a foot, like about someone trying to come out. This is supposed to be God creating Adam and Eve. And then, of course, we have weaving. For years, people have used these materials such as wool, cotton, and silk to go ahead and make intricate rugs and items which are actually used. This is from the Turkish, now known as Turkey, prayer rug, and this from the Ottoman Empire, during the Ottoman Empire days, when this was used as being like a rug. And then, of course, we have this. We have to go ahead and start looking for colors as well too. The world around us is definitely a colorful place. It comes to no surprise that people went ahead and have been making colorful paints and pigments and whatever for as long as we humans can actually remember. Artists have always exploited their own natural resources, and when it became widespread to go ahead and paint can be bought on like these little metal tubes, this was sold. You can go ahead and use them whenever you want. And then, of course, you can start going outside and start drawing people hand to hand. This is Vincent van Gogh's drawing of a wheat field with cypresses. Alright, and this is also another drawing as well, too. This is Albert Dürer's The Great Piece of Turf. And this is the betrayal of Christ. Guilty di Bondone's betrayal of Christ. And then we have this style, materials being combined. Materials are combined pretty easily, and by the end of like the 19th century, people started going ahead and abandoning traditional art styles. In fact, they went ahead and started mixing materials to go ahead and create the same things as well too. This was highly unheard of at the time, and was really unusual, such as this wool dress on top of this bronze figure with like fabric, and apparently the hair was real hair, but this is a copy of the real thing, and so the hair is also bronze. And we also have these pigments as well too. These pigments are actually different colors. No, they're not different colors, they're actually different materials, but they're all in the same color. And we have these three American flags all painted individually and put on top of each other, and then shading added to just go ahead and make them look like they're on top of each other, like they're floating on top of each other. Next up, we even have new materials, new ways to express art. The collage came along, and the collage itself was actually pretty beautiful as well too. You can go ahead, cut things out, and then go ahead and put them together. 7-Up bottles up here, and then a bunch of breakfast stuff right there. You can go ahead and make all these kinds of art as well too. And then we have our final piece, garbage. Now, garbage has actually highly been criticized in creation of art. In fact, if you use garbage in art in the olden days, you would probably have been criticized and mocked as a art destroyer. But then later on, people realized that this is actually just as important as regular people can actually be too. The person who made this, his name is Vic Muniz. He went ahead, and this is part of his documentary called his documentary on garbage things as well too. It's called Wasteland, by the way. Check it out. It's pretty cool. He went ahead and created art from garbage, and this is supposed to be a recreation of a famous painting of 1793 by French artist Jacques-Louis David named Death of Marat, made of basically garbage. But it's really good if you ask me. And then, of course, there's also this one. This is called the Hotel Eden. And you might be wondering, what would happen if the parrot pulls the string? I don't know, but I'm curious as well too. At first glance, some things might not actually look like they should be with each other, like this, and this, and this, and this. But then, it all just feels a lot more sense. It just makes a lot more sense than washing machine, speaker, electric light, maybe a parrot going ahead and turning on the light, prices, and that is it. That is certain art materials children should know. And without further ado, I hope you guys actually use this technique yourself. I hope to see you guys soon. Next time, channel, peace. Bye bye. Dun 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 dun. Da 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 da